Words are powerful. Words can make or break. Poetry, just like music, can be used to encourage, motivate, or tell stories. If you're a poetry lover, I'm sure you love the words of this special guest I have here. He goes by the name Obimpeh Fimpong. I hope I got the name right.
Yes, you got it right.
All right.
But for the purposes of what I do, I like to refer in here as a narrator.
And the narrator?
Yes, I vibe with that more than the real name itself.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, can you tell us a little about yourself, how you grew up, your family background?
Okay, I grew up in a town in central region called Nkruma, which is a bit closer to Agunasiobro. So growing up, just like any ordinary Ghanaian child, life was not easy. You know, in school we had to attend shifts morning and afternoon. And over there in Nkruma, I wasn't a bad student. In fact, to be honest, I was actually on top of my class every time. But then, you know, children in villages speaking English is always a problem, and I had that challenge as well. So even though I couldn't speak any English at all, like if I want to converse with you, if you give me any book at all, I just can't read. So it was just like that until I joined my mom in Tema, and that was 1998. And I enrolled in a school called Divine Gift. It was one of the most popular schools around in Nkruma at the time. We had some footballers like Harris Nafo, Glasina Waku, and all of them. It was just like a mini, you know, soccer academy school. So I enrolled over there, and there's a story as to how I came to learn how to write and how to speak.
Okay. I was just about to ask that.
Okay.
How did you discover your love for poetry?
Yes, so when I came to Accra, you know, I've already told you I had a problem with speaking. English was a bit of a difficulty. And over there in the village, I was moving on to class 6. Then when I was brought to Accra, I had to write a test. And I failed the test woefully. Then they decided to demote me, so they sent me to class 4. And I remember that day I cried. I cried my heart out. Because deep down I knew that I could do it, only that I didn't understand the basics of the language. But then my problem started when I entered the classroom for the first time. There was a teacher we called Mr. Smart Ajari. So he asked me, "Are you an alien?" I mean, imagine somebody who could not even say Kwesi is a boy, and then he put in that question to me. So I didn't know what an alien was. Okay. But the question he asked me demanded a yes or no answer. So I had to choose one. And yes. Unfortunately, I chose the wrong one. I said yes. So he made a face at me, and then I knew that it was wrong. So that very moment, I decided that I had to learn the Queen's language. And he was talented with grammar. So anytime he speaks, I'll be picking the words small like that. And then I took to reading. In fact, I read everything that I came across. I didn't know I was building my arsenal of vocabulary by reading. So with time, I got myself a bit upgraded with the English language. And there was nothing to do with it except to write and to speak. So I left Divine Gift in 2003 and then proceeded on to Nkruma Secondary School in 2003, from 2003 to 2005. And I joined the debate team because naturally I have what it takes to sort of flow. So I joined the debate team. But that wasn't enough. In my school, every morning we go for assembly, and 10 minutes to 15 minutes was allocated for motivation.
Okay, so can you hold on that? I want our viewers to have a feel of what we are talking about right now. So,
okay.
So this is what if
tomorrow never comes.
What if tomorrow never comes? I don't know if you would like to narrate it right now, or I should just.
Most often I like to tell I use stories and narrations to do. Yeah. I don't want to follow it verbatim, but I can give out the story and then like some kind of summary form.
Okay, let me just play a bit of it.
What if tomorrow never comes? Do enjoy and don't forget to share. We were once like you, and you will soon be like us. These are the words written at the entrance of one of the cemeteries in Europe. When you consider the words carefully, it appears as though the dead are communicating with the living, who visit the cemetery to either bury a corpse or visit their dead relatives. The subject of death and salvation have been discussed extensively right from the first century. This audio seeks not to address the same problem, but to look at another gaping hole with respect to death. I once chanced on a post on Facebook, and I think it's worth sharing. This is what it says. The house where I lived was about to be seized just because I could not pay the rent. I posted my situation on Facebook and WhatsApp looking for help, but all I could get were 2 likes and 0 comments. So I sent 250 messages to my contact list requesting for a loan of 500 Ghana cedis. Unfortunately, only 10 people responded. 6 out of the 10 people said they could not help me, and only 1 out of the 4 who promised to help me gave me some money. The other 3 people gave me no excuse and never took my calls. In the end, I was ejected. I did not have a place to sleep. I walked in the dark looking for options, and unfortunately, a thief stole my empty wallet with my identity card. In his haste to get away from me, he crossed the road without looking. He was badly hit by a car on high speed without his body being identified. Only the wallet containing my identity card served as a marker. The news spread quickly the next day that I had died. 628 people posted on my Facebook wall how they knew me and how kind I was. A committee was formed by my supposed faithful friends who raised 9,000 Ghana cedis to feed people at my funeral.
You can follow him on YouTube.
Yes.
And get the full narration of
Yes.
What's the YouTube channel?
It's Aspect Audios.
Aspect Audios.
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue with it.
Yeah, so just like I was saying, it was a thing for the school every morning for motivations and things like that. And it was normally reserved for the final year student because you need a certain energy, a certain character to be able to stand in front of 1,002 students and then speak. But I decided that I had to give it a try. So between 2005 and 2006, I was the first student in SHS2 to give that a try. And when I finished, the first time I spoke about destiny, the kind of applause that came really motivated me. It sounded different. So there was a teacher who came around and said that whatever I had said that morning it was indeed the truth. And in fact, I think that was the first time I had seen a teacher give a comment after the morning motivation. So I carried on from there and then completed in 2006. And I had a chance to attend Kwame University of Science and Technology in 2009. So I was affiliated to Unity Hall, which we call Kunti. It's one of the halls that I love most. So everywhere I go, I mention it. It's on my heart. And once I got a role, I decided to join the editorial board and then the school debate, the hall debating. And so we carried on from there, did many exploits over there. I rose through the ranks to become the deputy editor-in-chief for Unity Hall. And I graduated in 2013. So I was posted for my national service in the northern region, in Upper West. There's a place called PCA in Wild West. And that's where the audios were really born. And
so what is your thought process when you are writing? Is it through experience or just mere imagination? Because they are very real and relatable.
I combined experience, I combined imagination, and I combined stories I had read somewhere. Initially when I started, I was just doing it like that. But then I decided that I think that I have to speak about social issues because they are really pressing issues. And just like I started the audios in Upper West, those time I was doing it myself with my phone. The beginning was a bit difficult, and there were a lot of empty rooms. So I just entered an empty room because I wanted some kind of echo. Yeah, so I did a few ones over there. I did Destiny, I did Change and things like that, and sent to a few of my friends, around 200 contacts. And as time went on, just like I'm saying, I felt that I have to speak to people's heart. So I came down to Accra after my service, and then I decided that the next audio that I was going to do should be something that people are willing to be related to. So my first audio that really took me to the world was Stay Provoked. But that one didn't really sell like that until I did the What If Tomorrow Never Comes. But
so
then,
what would you say your genre of poets or poetry is?
I think that it's a combination of poetry, combination of motivation and spoken word. It's a mixture of everything. You understand? The bottom line is that you have to touch somebody's heart, and you have to speak to people, let them feel that if there are problems, if there are bridge walls, if there are impediments, there's a solution, there's an antidote, there's a way of solving these problems, and whatever it is, there's a way forward. So I combine all these things and then try and then make people feel at home. Yes.
So are Ghanaians accepting your art?
Yes, they have. And I'm happy to say that I have a lot of followers, especially from the northern region. Yes, so Ghanaians are really accepted. A lot of Ghanaians, and not only in Ghana, in Africa, all over the world. I don't know any continent that I haven't got a feedback from.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because people get the feedback.
Mainly on social media?
Yes, especially through WhatsApp. So they listen, and because my number is there, they contact me from India, China, Australia. I have friends all over this area.
So are there enough platforms or events where you get the chance to perform one-on-one with your fans?
Yes, sometimes I'm invited for programs.
Okay.
But I when I go, I don't really do the poetry thing. I go as a speaker, and so I choose a certain theme that I want to talk about. Even though it's around the same thing that I do, I don't, when you are doing poetry, you speak in a different manner. But when you are speaking to people like a program, there's a way to talk. So I go for a few programs. Just recently I attended one. Speak Up is an NGO, and Miss Ruthie, the founder, is in UK. She came down to Ghana and attended one other program that I attended, known as Draspiration, Drama and Inspiration. So I go for programs, few of them.
What do you think can be done to help poetry in Ghana?
I think that it should be given more platform.
Platforms.
Yes, it should be given some kind of platform and upliftment. I know that it's not everybody who is really interested in listening, but I also know that there are few people there who are really interested in listening, and there's power in words.
Wow.
Yes, real power in words.
How important is poetry to you?
Well,
And to the young guy coming up, the young students in school, do you think poetry should be introduced to them at an early stage?
yes, I think so. Poetry, joining words,
Yeah.
to speak to somebody. Sometimes people might think that it is a difficult thing to do, but it starts from passion. When you have passion for it, you'll be able to do anything. I want to add this. I have done an audio where it has saved lives. Let me put it that way. There's an audio entitled "Suicide Note," and in the suicide note, I've got a few feedbacks where people were telling me that if they have not listened to the audio, they would have committed suicide and all that. So I think that poetry is very powerful.
Okay. Can you tell us a bit about suicide note?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell
Now, suicide note really centers on a young girl, school-going girl. I think she was in JHS, and she was facing a lot of problems. Her parents were rich; they were providing all the money, all the things she needed, but she lacked the kind of love and affection that she would have got. So an uncle of hers showed her that kind of affection, but unfortunately, the uncle turned her into, excuse my language, sex machine. So she was being raped now and then, now and then. Initially, she had wanted to report it, but then she didn't have the courage. And then the uncle finally traveled to Canada. And when the uncle traveled, it left a certain vacuum in the life of the girl, because all along it's been the uncle who has been there all the time. And so in the long run, the girl decided to commit suicide, and was really telling the parents that it's not all about money sometimes. Sometimes it's about how you draw your children closer and speak to them. Yes.
So yeah, in this one, the lesson is love cannot be replaced with money.
Not at all.
Okay. And there's one African. There's.
Okay, so let me when I entered the studio to do the audios, I record 2 audios every time. So there was one time after I recorded the What If Tomorrow Never Come and then the Valley of Life. Those were the two audios. I decided I want to do something about Africa. So I recorded an audio entitled Africa Needs You to Step Up. And then after that I recorded the Walk to Europe, a deaf trap for young Africans. And the rationale was to speak to young Africans, to let them know that it is true, there are more opportunities in Europe and all that. But over here on our land, if we concentrate on wanting to build our country and our continent, we'll be able to do it. So anytime I want to record, I pick a certain area, I target it, and then I speak to it. I still want to talk about Africa in future. I mean, laying more emphasis on slavery and how the white people came and then took over our country and all that and all that. And the fact that we cannot continue to rely on the white people again. Even though they are not here, our mindsets have been captured. And so until we win the battle in our head, it will be very difficult for us to totally liberate ourselves. Going forward in future, I think I would want to still go back to Africa and speak to the children of Africa.
On the topic of Africa, what would you say is the main problem for Africans?
I think we're indoctrinated, our minds were changed, our thinking patterns were shifted, and it's been handed down from generation to generation until now. The time has come for us to liberate ourselves. The time has come for us to free ourselves. We can do this. We can do it on our own. So I believe that the more we speak, the more people listen, and the more they hear, the more they take a cue from some of these things.
That's true. The time has come for us to liberate ourselves.
Yes.
Yes, this is Truly Ghanaian TV. My name is Efo Selassie. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go on and subscribe on YouTube at Truly Ghanaian TV. Follow me on Facebook and on Instagram at Truly Ghanaian 1. Can you tell us where we can get you? When we need you for a program, maybe your number?
Yes, so I'm all over the social media, Facebook, and because of my name aspect, it's easy to really locate me.
How did you come by that name?
That name, everybody asked me. And to be honest with you, the name has really pushed me.
Okay.
Because I find myself in a large school and there's somebody called Aspect. And the funny thing is that everybody wants to see who Aspect is. They come and it's this smallish short guy and they get this.
I was just trying to understand the name.
So people ask me the meaning and I tell them means appearance.
Aspect, appearance.
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up knowing that that's my name and I haven't really got it because it's I think I use the name to my advantage.
Okay.
So Aspect Obimpeh Fimpong on Facebook. But for my number is 024 88 11138. If you call me anytime, anywhere, I'll respond. I've had programs in Tamale where I have gone before, so there's nowhere I can really attend.
And on Facebook and Instagram?
Yes, on Instagram it is the narrator. On Facebook it is Aspect Obimpeh Fimpong. On YouTube it is Aspect Audios. Yeah, so I want to use this opportunity and this big platform to appeal to people who would want to sponsor the audios.
Okay.
To be honest with you, the audios are free to air. I have done this for 8 solid years. I have not charged anybody a pesewa for wanting to listen to the audio. So we have gotten to a stage where the numbers have grown beyond compare. So many people, thousands of people that receive the audio directly from me. So we think that we need people to help us. Going forward, we want to have the Aspect Foundation where we can also help people. Going forward, that's what we want to do. But I also want to take this opportunity to thank a few of my friends who have really supported me, like the studio, Dynamic Studio. He's been fantastic all these years. Then I want to thank Waco Premium Enterprise, dealers in phones and accessories. He's been there with me all this while. To Icon Media, the guy behind all my graphic design, and then to thank my manager and my friend, Mr. Steven Yirechi, the man I like to call Sayo. He's doing a wonderful job. So this is where we want to end. We want to say thank you for accepting us. Thank you for all the years of support, and pray for us because we are going to bring you better things going forward.
So make sure to subscribe to his channel and then enjoy the well-brewed words of Aspects Obimpeh. My name is Efo Selassie. Follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, Truly Ghanaian 1. Subscribe to the channel, Truly Ghanaian TV. Have a blessed day.